Hello, everyone. Welcome to this training session on Identity and Access Management, or IAM fundamentals. In this video, we're going to understand why cybersecurity matters, where IAM fits into it, and why identity has become the new security perimeter. Whether you're a student, career switcher, or IT professional trying to understand IAM at a foundational level, this session is for you. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. It is not official product training or certification material for any IAM vendor. Everything you'll hear is based on my 25 plus years of experience in the IAM industry and represent my professional understanding, not the views of any vendor or organization. For official training or certifications, always refer to vendor documentation. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about a fundamental concept in identity and access management, directory services and LDAP. If you are working with technologies like Active Directory, PingDirectory, OpenLDAP, then understanding directory services is absolutely essential. So in this video, we will answer a few simple but powerful questions. What is a directory service? How is it different from a database? What is LDAP? And how users are actually stored inside a directory server. Let's start with a simple question. What exactly is a directory? A directory is a specialized database that stores information about things in an organization. For example, employees or users, printers, network resources, applications, devices. So a directory service is basically a system that stores and manages this information. It allows applications to quickly look up information about users or resources. To understand this better, let's think about a telephone directory. Imagine the old telephone books. If you want to find someone's phone number, you simply look up their name. You don't update that book often. You mostly read information from it. That is exactly how a directory server works. It is optimized for fast lookups. Now, many people ask, what is the difference between a directory server and a database? Let's break it down. A directory server is designed mainly for read operations, meaning applications frequently look up user information. For example, authentication, authorization, email lookups, employee directories. It is not heavily transaction-oriented. A database is very different. A database is designed for transactions, frequent updates, large volumes of data writes. Examples include banking systems, e-commerce platforms, order management systems. So in simple terms, directory servers are optimized for lookup operations, while databases are optimized for transactions. Let's talk about a word that everyone hears in identity systems: LDAP. LDAP stands for Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. But what does that actually mean? Here's the key thing to understand. LDAP is not a directory server. It is simply a communication protocol. It is the language that applications use to talk to a directory server. Think of it like this. HTTP is the protocol applications use to communicate with web servers. SMTP is the protocol applications used to communicate with mail servers, and LDAP is the protocol applications used to communicate with directory servers. So at its core, LDAP is simply the language applications used to query directory servers. There are several directory server products available today. Some of the most popular ones include Microsoft Active Directory, Oracle Unified Directory, PingDirectory, ForgeRock, Directory Services, OpenLDAP. All of these use LDAP as the protocol to communicate with applications. Now let's answer a very important question. How are users stored in a directory server? Users in LDAP are represented using two concepts: object classes and attributes. If you come from a database background, this will feel familiar. The concepts map quite closely. An object class in LDAP is similar to a table in a database. An attribute is similar to a column. An entry is similar to a row. So, putting it all together, A user object class defines what attributes a user can have. For example, a user entry might contain attributes like a user ID, a first name, a last name, a password, and even a photo. Let's compare how a user is represented in LDAP versus how a user is stored in a database. In LDAP, a user is described using attributes. These might include a UID for the user's ID, given name for the first name, SN for the surname, JPEG photo for a profile picture, and user password for the password. In a database, the same information would be stored in columns. Those columns might be named user ID, first name, last name, photo, and password. As you can see, the two are conceptually very similar. The data is essentially the same, just described in a different way. Now, a common confusion people have is LDAP object class related to object-oriented programming? The answer is no. LDAP object classes simply define what attributes an entry can have. Over time, organizations realize that users across enterprises share common attributes. For example, first name, last name, email, phone number, postal address. So standard bodies like IANA define standard user object classes. Directory vendors follow these standards. For example, Active Directory provides a user object class. PingDirectory provides inetOrgPerson. These standard classes already include commonly used attributes. But what if your organization needs custom attributes? For example, contractor ID, employee badge number, vendor type. LDAP allows you to extend the schema. You can create custom object classes like acmeContractorPerson, acmeStaffPerson. This flexibility makes LDAP extremely powerful. There are several default object classes used in directory services. The most common ones are organization, represents an organization or company. Person represents a generic user. Organizational person represents a person who works in an organization. inetOrgPerson represents a modern internet-enabled user. Most modern IAM systems use inetOrgPerson as the primary user object class. So today we learned what a directory service is, how it differs from a database, what LDAP really means, how users are stored in directory servers, and the most common LDAP object classes. Understanding these concepts is the foundation for working with identity management systems like PingDirectory, Active Directory, ForgeRock, OpenLDAP. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. In the next video, we will dive deeper into LDAP directory tree structure, also called the DIT. See you in the next video.